Are you ready for us to be fighting the big guy every single gosh dang week?
Ripperoni to Titan Week. Long live Titan Tuesday! Oh my god, we're up to date with the Titan show. It came out like yesterday.
Yeah.
We're seeing the shit like the next day.
Holy fuck.
We're in it, and we're committing, in case it wasn't clear. Every fucking Tuesday, we're gonna be back with Titan shit because people like to watch it and we like to talk about it.
Y'all care more about Titan than you do about anything else.
Oh my god, you did Dr. Stone and the slime so dirty. Go buy the YURU Camp shirt though, and we'll talk about other things. Also $10 for all our bonus episodes on Subscribestar, including What About Attack on Titan? Advertisement. Hey kids, want to impress your friends and induce sexual arousal in your neighbors? KHANTEHNT t-shirts!
Wow, I've never been more impressed in my life with anything.
KHANTEHNT now has official t-shirt merchandise, and you can get yourself some by clicking below the video or in the Teespring link in the description. With designs like the classic KHANTEHNT logo.
Or this.
I've got a shirt on too.
Or this. KHANTEHNT!
In these trying times, why not tell the world you'd rather be watching YURU Camp from inside your cozy can tent?
They're a great way to support the show and share your KHANTEHNT pride. So get out there, wear them, and get into KHANTEHNT.
Historia. 壁を破壊し蹂躙された挙句、家畜みてえに子供を産まされ殺されて、やっと生きることが許されるっていうのなら、俺はジーク・イエーガーの計画は到底受け入れられません。
So here we are, episodes 10 and 11. So we're caught up. We're watching one last episode we missed, and now we're up to date, baby, with everybody else.
Packed with fun and character development. This whole arc we've kind of gotten ourselves into, like after that big action arc that we started the season on, a longer, slow, detailed, ruminating kind of arc.
It's like the opposite of season 3.
Yeah. Kind of really makes me wonder about this whole final season.
No chance. With 5 episodes, they're going to conclude this entire story? Yeah. No chance, bro. No chance.
I think final season was the important word.
Movie,
there.
OVA,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever the fuck they need to use.
I think it's going to be a movie.
Although I
without
got
question.
Movie would be the thing to do. I give them props for tricking the world into being like, oh, I gotta pay attention, it's the final season. Yeah. They lied, and people died.
I have to believe that the reason that Mappa's doing this season is maybe the original team is working on that movie.
Oh my god, that would be so sick. I would love that. That's almost certainly not the case. Everybody tells me the tale of woe that it was to make the show, and how nobody wanted to make this final season, which I need to read interviews about, but every fan who's been lecturing me about, Nate, I'm gonna teach you about Attack on Titan, the real shit, they say, fucking Mappa was like, I guess we'll do it, guys. If you're gonna put a gun to our head, I guess we'll take care of it.
Why did nobody want to do Titan?
Like the most profitable, popular show
I
in
don't
the
get
game.
it.
I don't
Were they
follow.
afraid? Was it just everyone's afraid of having to
I do know that
follow up season 3 or what?
The expectations were so high. I know that was a source of pressure for WIT, right? It was WIT Studio, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear more information.
Very odd. Well, we rejoin with Eren in a holding cell, just muttering, fight, fight, to himself. And there's an amazing line here. I feel like Hajime Isayama, as he's gone, this story has always been meme-y. There's always been those little mimetic moments that stand out. The memes have only gotten more powerful and potent as the story has progressed. I think the scene where Hanji's like, you keep saying fight, fight. If you say fight twice, does that mean there's 2 fights?
Are you fighting the fight, as in nullifying the fight? Hanji is just dabbing on Eren. It's a big making fun of how edgy Eren has become, and it's very refreshing. It was a great little comedy scene. Hanji, same old bitch, same old Hanji.
Well, and I also take it as making fun of Hanji herself, kind of, in that everybody is like mentally unraveling at this point in the show. I mean, they always were, but it's like a different kind of mental unraveling that comes from. I think there's probably going to be someone standing aside and saying this at some point before the show is over. That like fighting people is even crazier than fighting Titans. Yeah. And like with the Titans, you had this like just very easy to understand existential threat of like unstoppable force of just going to eat everybody. But at least if you, for you as a viewer, you can put yourself into Eren's shoes of like, yeah, but we can kill them all if we try hard enough. Now that it's like, yeah, we can kill them all if we tried hard enough. Those other human beings who are just like us. It's you know,
very different feeling to that kind of mission versus the other one.
And you can start to see the way that people have to create like their own narratives in their head about why they're able to do this or participate in that. You know, of course, we see this especially with the Marleyans and with Gabby, who is thoroughly brainwashed about the Eldians. Any Eldian that's not like you is evil. I like to see how, even though this has always been a story where characters were like losing their mind in like a Lovecraftian kind of way, now even the toughest characters are starting to like act wacky, you know, and get a little funny.
Hanji, who seemed like always loopy, but more able to like get by in this crazy world that she found herself in. Even we're seeing her like depressed a little bit, like beaten down. So I agree, it's touching everybody. So apart from the dabbing on Eren for being too edgy and his beautiful new hairstyle, looks fantastic, which she compliments him on, we're next introduced to another big change. So we kind of get the whole big backstory now of Hizuru, or just the Japan of the Attack on Titan world. These mangakas can never help themselves from inserting Japan into every narrative, and they are the one super special ally nation among the entire world who, 100 years ago, like the shogun of them, was friends with King Fritz or whatever, who founded, you know, Paradise Island and Paradis, and now they're reestablishing relations due to a whole bunch of stuff. And the first thing that happens, though, I mean, is this shit right here. All right, so... Yeah. Oh, God, Isayama. So, the lady there, there's a specific clan she's a member of, the Azumabito clan. So this is the ruling clan of, you know, of the shogunate of Hizuru, Japan. And they're like, guys, little secret. Did you know that 100 years ago, actually, the shogun, like, abandoned or, like, lost during the walls going up or whatever, one of his, like, offspring, one of his direct heirs. Oh, the prince and the princess of Hizuru has been lost to time. And luckily, no other, like, survivors exist in the kingdom. The point is, Mikasa is a secret princess all along of Japan. In addition to an Acumen, this is mildly infuriating, at least, that she's also...
I feel bad for not having noticed if she was, but was she always wearing a wrap on her arm this whole show?
I've got a rabbit hole for you, because me and Michelle, our previous guest on the show, we did a deep dive to see what's the deal. To be fair, Michelle just told me, and I went back and researched this. So if you go back as recently as the end of season 3, when they're all at the beach and they're splashing around, you can clearly see in the anime, Mikasa has no bandages on her arms. I did the research. They fucked up real bad. But it goes deeper. It's a deeper rabbit hole of the anime specifically fucking up bad. Because beyond that, there's the whole backstory here is that, she's the super secret princess. This is the mark of the clan of the Azumabito or whatever. And her mother, conveniently, gave it to her right before she died. Usually these things happen once you're like a mature adult. So it totally could have happened that she never got the brand. Luckily it didn't. More convenience. Okay, that's fine.
Why introduce the element that they wouldn't normally get it until they're an adult?
I mean, they didn't. I'm just saying it was kind of lucky that Mikasa managed to get this before her parents were totally unexpectedly murdered. Right. I mean, there was a little bit of expectation because they wanted her. Okay, so the rabbit hole continues because if you go back to something like episode 5 of Attack on Titan, maybe 6 something, when Mikasa has her flashback when Eren is dead, and we see the whole thing of, Eren killing the people, Mikasa awakening her Ackerman powers and stuff. In the anime, there's a little scene of Mikasa just like embroidering a little thing. Right. That was an anime original scene. In the original manga, in chapter 5, there is just an explicit scene of Mikasa getting branded by her mother on her hand that for some reason the anime just replaced completely, despite it being a narrative that was going to pay off later. And Isayama let that happen.
It's very weird.
Either he didn't know if it would necessarily pay off narratively, some of these plot threads don't always come together, or the anime studio just didn't take his input, perhaps. But to be fair, Isayama committed no sins here whatsoever. The anime specifically fucked up in a bunch of ways. Again, as recently as the end of season 3, Mikasa is at the beach waving her arms around, going, "I love having nothing on my wrists at the beach. It's so fun." And now it's a plot relevant thing. So Get it together, guys. That was on Whip. You can't blame fucking Mappa on that
That was
one.
definitely one of those moments where I'm like, well, I never noticed her having a thing on her arm the whole fucking time. You'd think they would have drawn attention to that or something. Like,
Yeah.
It was such a big thing that I was like, well, there's no way it wasn't foreshadowed because I just wouldn't believe that it, I actually have enough faith in this author to think that he would have foreshadowed this in some way.
He did. He deserves all the credit. Although I just want to repeat again, some people are going to say, oh, Nate, you're too fucking critical, even though you're explaining the stuff you did right. Look, the fact that Mikasa, she could have been a member of a branch family. She could have just, I've told this to some people. They're like, well, of course she's a super special, Hizuru person because it's weird that she's in the kingdom. That could have been an immigrant family. It could have been any number of reasons. The fact that she is the super special princess true heir is very bullshit.
Well, and also, why? Why does she have to be the super special princess true heir?
Great question. And the good thing I have to say about this, to counter my exact last point, is that when Mikasa's meeting with the ambassador lady, she mentioned this, like, oh, it's the true heir, we're going to bring her back to the fold or whatever, but she immediately afterward obviously doesn't care and just sees this as like a bargaining chip to establish trade relations. So they are kind of undercutting this big reveal, which I do appreciate. It makes it less bad.
It almost seemed like it was... So I was wondering if she might be lying outright about Mikasa being one of those, which, I don't know. It could be either way.
The brand approves some connection, but what specifically?
Right. It was just that, because the Hizuru are presented as untrustworthy. They're, participating in Zeke's plan, right?
They're part of Zeke's plan to have an ally to help them fight back the rest of the world. Right. But they want the ice-burst stone that's only in Paradise Island, which I assume is like a Titan-relevant mineral.
I assumed that was the stuff that they harden with. It's like the ice.
That's my guess too.
That was like their whole. We saw a whole cave made of that shit at one point.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for sure. It hasn't really been clarified. They say it's a natural resource that only exists here, and the only distinguishing feature we know about this place is it's where all the Titans live. So, I mean, this stone though is necessary for the 3D maneuver gear. And for a bunch of other unique tech.
It will
apparently
be necessary for this new airship they're setting up. It's really crazy, actually, how much this episode jumps around in the timeline to establish everything. So when Eren finds out the Hizuru show up, they're like, here's the plan from Zeke. We're going to do a test rumbling, shore up our forces so we're ready to fight the world, I guess. And then we're going to have Historia take the Beast Titan. And Eren is not okay with this. Historia is basically down with this plan, seemingly because of the fact that she's so excited about Mikasa also being a princess. We basically learned that the reason Eren went rogue was to prevent Historia from having to eat the Beast Titan. He's still trying to protect her, it seems like, and everybody else seems to think there's no other choice. They're like, we're just going to go with Hizuru, maybe one of, I think Eren had originally said to the rest of the team, I'll eat the Beast Titan, or one of you will have to eat me, or something. They were talking about who would eat Eren.
Right, that's a little bit later, because Eren only has 5 years left to live. They obviously don't want to let this get away from them, possibly, because the whole reincarnation cycle, somebody else could get it, one of the Marleyan Eldians or something. But the issue of protecting Historia, I think, is just a little bit more philosophically grounded, in that, of course, he wants to protect, Historia. He wants to protect their new little kingdom and all his friends. He clearly really cares about his friends. He makes that explicit. He's like, I don't even want my friends to eat my Titan. I want them to live long, happy lives. Right. Because Eren is really a champion for his people. He really hates how the Eldians are oppressed this way. And this is why, when he's told Zeke's plan, so this plan with the rumbling and establishing trade relationships, the thing is, that plan goes to the state of, they'll basically be back where they were kind of before they learned anything. They're going to turn Historia into a breeder, so there's lots of royal family people. They're going to continue to live in their little protected kingdom, not able to go outside.
I feel like that was the part the part to hit the viewer of oh, maybe we don't want this. Historia is literally going to be turned into a breed tank. So.
Which, having kids, I mean, it's not the worst fate in the world, but the point is, Eren is not willing to stop at half measures anymore. This is the issue. Everybody else, most people actually, there's some sympathetic people we'll talk about. Most people, everybody else is like, okay, this will be good enough. We'll be happy if we just get, nobody will be killing us anymore. We'll just do a little rumbling to show people what we're afraid of. This is Zeke's plan. This is the Japanese people's plan. Eren says, fuck that. It's not enough. Until I am free, there will be no stopping this plan. This appears to be the main fault line between the groups. So
it's fun. We go and have the flashback where we learn about why, about the breeder thing, and then we cut back to the scene with Eren in the cage and Hanji, and he rebukes her teasing in a great way, where he literally gets up and he's like, look, I don't know what you think you are doing, but like, I went there to get the Warhammer Titan. I have that now. I can break out of here whenever I want. Yep. I'm just hanging out because y'all, you know, don't know what to do with me.
He's letting them feel in control for a bit.
And so he that's the scene where he just grabs Hanji and is just like, so what can you do, Hanji? Mm-hmm. What can you do? And
he's giving her a chance. He's saying, if you have a better plan than me, Hanji, execute it. If not, I'm gonna have to take matters into my own hands. Right. So this man has changed in a big way. And actually, that's the characters at the end of this episode, all our old gang. Connie is looking out the window, and he's like, guys, we're on board for this plan, you know, to establish our own little kingdom. Eren seems to have his own path. If it comes down to it, I will take that motherfucker out. Mikasa, again, is like, oh, no, I will stop you, Connie. But the fault lines are happening. Right. This is not good.
Yeah, we see... So I guess what their plan had been originally was actually to establish a base in Marley and spread peace from there. Like they wanted to have like a what's
an
the
outpost, a forward operating base?
No, what is it called when you have
embassy?
Embassy, yeah. They wanted to make an embassy in Marley, and I guess like you said, it just wasn't good enough for Eren. He found a better plan. He was like, "Fuck you guys," so he went rogue. Everyone had offered to take his Titan, every single member of the group, before he went off on his mission. Now that he's back, distrust has been sown. Connie's like, I don't know, he ain't the same Eren.
He's
you
not
see the
the
look
same
in his
Eren.
eyes.
Yeah.
You see him laugh when fucking Sasha died. This man's off his rocker. But, you know, at the same time, that's also them not thinking as cool. Like, this is Connie getting emotional, too. Everybody's getting emotional, man. They're at the end of the ropes.
The fact that they're now... Connie seems seriously willing to kill Eren if need be. I mean, that is a change from Season 1, you know? He's evolved. By the way, there's one other note from this episode we didn't touch on. Speaking of being a breeder, Historia is pregnant right now, which is highly plot relevant. So the question is...
With whose baby?
See, that's the question. They say first and foremost... like these military guys who were talking, they say, we know who the father is, we like looked into it, it was like a farmhand who used to bully her when she was a kid, but now they got back together and they're gonna do stuff.
Shit.
But I mean, of course you'd be foolish not to say that we really don't establish that.
I gotta say, now that she's not a virgin, I'm gonna have to burn a lot of CDs and figures and hug pillows. I'm gonna have to start tearing shit
she's
to
not
pieces.
pure anymore.
It's just not, I thought we were defending her purity here.
I mean, I've got to put out the theory, like, obviously, the logical choice, like Eren could be the father, you know? I mean, they have a little bit of a relationship. Eren having kids seems like it could be, like, something he wants to do to establish a future line. I'm just saying, who knows what'll happen. We have no reason to believe one way or the other. Although some people in the manga, who read the manga, seem to be saying when this came up that, like, it seemed like the anime made it more clear that that farm boy was the father, but I think, I don't know if you can totally trust the anime and all this stuff, so I still certainly think it's worth speculating on who it could be. Maybe it's Connie.
Well, getting
it's
into
not Connie. Let's not lie to ourselves.
この間だって私の町を蹂躙した私のお母さんが殺されたのは4年前だからその罪じゃないだから先祖が世界中の人を虐殺したからお母さんは誰も殺してないねえミアちゃんと答えてなんでお母さんがあんなに苦しんで殺されたのか
Episode 11.
This one
Deception.
opens with Gabi. Do you still feel
Gabby gang,
you still
baby?
feel Gabby gang after
I'm
this?
more Gabby gang than ever after this. Wait, we
this
gotta go to
episode
our...
opens with Gabby.
I love her.
She's in the cell. She's pissed off. A guy comes in to check on her, and she takes a brick and beats him the fuck to death.
She sure does.
And he
was an enemy combatant, though, to be fair.
Right. Although, well, he is an enemy combatant, but as Falco says, he was literally coming to check on you.
He wasn't a bad guy.
He was actually like looking out for you, and you just brained him to death.
This is the theme of the episode.
Right.
These people didn't do anything, Gabby. Please stop murdering them. Please.
it's more understandable for Gabby to be reaching the end of her rope than anyone else because she's a child, and also, like, honestly, she's seen more shit than most of these people because, like, she didn't just grow up with the threat of, like, Titans looming over her head. She grew up, like, in a ghetto where, like, she's beaten up for being the race she is, forced to fight in wars, like, literally has murdered humans, or, like, assumably for a while, and she's only, like, 8 or 9 or some shit.
She really is the Eren of the new generation in every sense.
So, for her to be breaking down really would require, like, a challenge on her whole, you know, worldview, which Zeke's betrayal obviously is.
Now they know Zeke's a traitor,
Yeah.
And I mean, her indoctrination is so thorough that, like, Falco is her counterpoint, being like, maybe don't kill. Not everybody here is a monster, Gabby. Let's calm down, please.
Well, we really see her psychological state when he tries to take the armband off of her.
Right.
And she's like, no, this is proof I'm a good Eldian. Without it, I'm just another one of them.
You know, I gotta say, I understand. Gabby is getting more into the territory. I totally understand. Of like, Gabby, please just come to the good side. Like, please stop being indoctrinated. Gabby is the most interesting character in the show right now. I am loving her little arc. Obviously, I want her to wake up and realize she's fighting a bad battle for bad reasons. But I am loving the way that she's going through this. And the fact that she, again, isn't just instantly, oh, everyone's lovely, I love everyone now. Why would she do that? She's a fucking soldier, man.
Right. Well, and it's fascinating to see her perspective versus Falco's of, like, in her mind, it's just like, any of these people should want us dead at any moment. And we definitely want them dead. Like, that's what we've been trained to do, is just kill all these people. They are not human. They're not worth it, you know? So, like, it's funny to see how even when, like, the blonde girl comes to help them, she's, like, ready to kill her just on the basis of you're from the island. You know?
She picks up a rock. I mean, every scene with Gabby is so full of tension. Yeah. Please stop murdering people. I love it. It's the best. And the way Gabby clings to that armband, I feel for her so deeply. She's like, no, I just don't want to be one of the bad ones. I have worked my whole life to redeem myself from, like, the stories I've been told that my people are evil and I carry their sins. Man, I really feel for her. She is a deep, complex, and good character.
I like that, you know, her and Falco, they go to this homestead, meet these people. All of them instantly realize who they are.
Yep. I mean, they talk about it loudly, that they're from Marley. When I see the scene, as they do in anime, I was thinking to myself, you know that you being Marleyans puts a fucking target on your back and you're yelling about it. And then a character says, like, yeah, I heard you yelling about being Marleyans. Obviously, we are aware of that. All right, anime.
We start to explore Hanji, and she's in an interesting place of being left with the command, basically being, like, in charge of the military.
She's in charge of all their, like, forward operations and stuff.
Right,
yeah.
and at this point having no idea what to do, because they've got Eren in prison for having, you know, gone against the plan and been a traitor, getting Sasha killed and all that, but Eren's plan also seemingly has advanced them, put them in a position to do more, and a lot of the people in the kingdom are, like, okay with that. The merchant people are grilling Hanji, like, why do you have Eren locked up? He just saved everybody. And then the underlings in the army are like, why do you got Eren locked up? He's going to lead us to victory.
This dynamic is so, it's getting so rich and nuanced and fantastic, because Flock, based boy Flock, lone survivor of Erwin's charge, is the leader of a group that's like, you motherfuckers have Eren tied up in the basement. This motherfucker is a hero, saving Eldians from oppression. What he did to fuck up the Marleyans was the #1 most heroic thing, saving our people we've ever seen. Like, it's basically like a nationalistic, like, view of things, but considering that you're being attacked and treated like demons by the entire world, you can totally see their perspective. Oh, there's so much nuance in everyone's perspective. I love hearing these ideas clash, and Hanji's on top being like, look, I get what you guys are saying, but we're killing a lot of innocent people here. This doesn't seem like the best plan for us to do. Every episode is fucking juicy as shit with this, and I love it.
You really get the sense that what Isayama seems to have learned by this season is that, like, the most interesting thing about showing a big event is then all the ramifications and fallout of it, and all the different things it can mean for different people. And that's where we're at in this arc. It's just like, you know, there's enough has been established that we can have these extremely complex reactions to things. And I was talking in the last episode about how legacy is kind of becoming a theme in the show of like what the, again, ramifications of what people do, but specifically how it affects others and how they go forward with their lives. So Mikasa in a jail cell meets a girl who she saved when that girl was a kid.
She's one of the girls who helped Flock spill the beans about Eren.
Okay, is that who I wasn't sure who that
There was a band of 4 soldiers who leaked information about their hero Eren being imprisoned by the government, which they think is fucked up because he's a hero.
Okay.
She being one of those people. So she's like an Eren supremacist or an Eren supporter.
And she's been locked up because of it.
That's right, because, they leaked military secrets. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So, was Mikasa, like, approving or disapproving of her actions there?
It seemed pretty clear to me she disapproved of what had been done. And of course,
I guess she just doesn't want Eren to go back out into battle at this point.
This girl is, that's probably true. This girl is saying, I'm with you, Mikasa, Eren's my hero, glory to the new Eldian Empire or whatever. And Mikasa says, shut your fucking mouth. So I think her side is fairly
and then when the girl does the salute, Mikasa literally goes into like a full PTSD freak out, remembering like every trauma in her whole life. And,
more than that, those traumas seem to me specifically to be her memories of what Eren had done in that, that... So, like, way back when we first got to that episode, like our second episode covering Attack on Titan or something, maybe it was the first episode, I don't remember. All of a sudden, considering Eren's actions now, we're bringing up those ideas and really recontextualizing a man. I think I said at the time, the man was a murder, genocide machine.
Yes.
But now he's got the power to do it.
Yeah.
And it's concerning for the future.
I really think Mikasa's concern is not so much Eren like losing himself as like, I don't know, she has not been with him for like a year now, right? So I think it's just the stress of having to worry about him from a distance for so long is like breaking her mind. And she's like, I think she's going to actually possibly be an impediment before this show is over to whatever Eren's trying to do.
I really think they're setting up a clash between... she's been so simping for Eren the entire show. I think the obvious dramatic payoff is a final confrontation between the two. And considering how much Eren has changed now, that seems like the obvious place to go. And by the way, that little girl... Maybe you mentioned this before and I missed it, but that was the little girl who Mikasa saved in like episode 4 or 5 or whatever from the Titans. So we're getting a lot of characters in this episode from olden days who are now doing new things and new situations here.
We'll get to another character reintroduction momentarily after some big memes because we're in the barn and a random horse bites Gabby's head.
That was pretty based.
She falls into a bucket.
These damn Eldian devils getting their horses to bite me on my fucking head. I knew you couldn't trust them.
I really feel like this season, like every episode has at least 1 or 2 moments that are there just for the memes.
Yeah,
just for you to go make memes, and I'm okay with that.
I think Isayama feels probably a little bit like, oh god, my story is so dramatic now. I need a little bit of levity here and there. And it feels weirdly out of place considering how serious everything is, but I still gotta laugh, so I like it.
There's so many, like there's in the episode before that when Connie and Sasha are both like staring at each other like, what do you mean? What do you mean an idiot shouldn't take it? You're an even bigger idiot, you fucking moron. Like,
and their faces are like drawn like haunted.
Yeah.
They're haunted by the realization that each other are so stupid that they're not a good successor to Eren. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
So then Gabby and the blonde girl get into a big old sins of the father debate.
Indeed they do.
Gabby's like, your people fucked our people up. And she's like, I didn't do none of that. My mom got eaten by Titans. What's up with that?
Well, first of all, let's just set the scene. So, FYI, the place that these two have arrived at, Gabi and Falco here, oh, coincidence of coincidences, they happen to be in Sasha's neighborhood. Around the guy leading the orphanage that they're at is literally Sasha's dad and Sasha's mom. Did Gabby have some, like, interaction with Sasha at some point? Of all possible characters to meet, the jail happened to be next to Sasha's house. It could have been anywhere in the fucking world. That's such a gigantic fucking narrative convenience.
I like it. I didn't see it coming.
I don't dislike it. I just point these things out. I have to. It's my duty as a human being.
Fair.
That being said, I do like what's going on here. As this character, she was the girl who Sasha saved in that legendary little Sasha arc from the big Titan eating her mom.
Well, the way we learn this is great. I like the way the girl frames the argument she's making to Gabby, which is that my mom was left behind by all the other villagers to die.
Right.
And she asks, why did they hate my mom so much? Like, in her mind, what she has been stuck on isn't even necessarily that her mom got eaten by Titans, it's that her mom was abandoned by the rest of the village and therefore eaten by a Titan, and she had to watch. So, like, she was rescued by Sasha, who was, like, willing to just fight through that, you know, regardless, and save her even though nobody else was. So she's like, I want to be like that too. It's interesting to think that, like, because then Falco tells her, like, well, the reason your mom died is that we were launching an offensive on your island. It was all a setup for a future
All
attack.
your suffering, all your little life problems are just like pieces on a chessboard of our big political issues. Yeah.
And so it's fascinating that he basically says to her, like, your mom did die for a reason, but it's not that she died because she was left in the house because nobody liked her enough or whatever. She died because we were launching an offensive on your island, you know? Like, and so I liked that sort of reframing, you know, like, that it would give her peace to sort of realize that, you know, that, like, this is bigger than even what was going on in my little village and the feelings people had towards my mother or whatever. She's the good side of Legacy, whereas, you know, Mikasa's Legacy is this girl who's trying to free Eren and is, you know, on the hard-ass military side of things. Here on the light side of things, we've got the influence of Sasha. And also, there was, like, a guy who liked Sasha, who's a cook.
Right, Niccolo.
He seems to be doing some kind of covert ops somewhere.
It seemed like he was implying he was poisoning a bunch. Like, he said, like, use this bottle of wine. The poison thing seems like
and it was a bunch of people who were basically saying, like, we should just, I think they were basically implying they were going to rape Historia. Like, we should just impregnate that bitch, is what they were saying.
Well, to be specific, one guy proposed, like, I know she's pregnant, fuck her. Like, she's our queen, she has responsibilities, turn her into a Titan right now. Like, if her baby dies, hey man, it is what it is. We need to, like, make political moves, and she is a political pawn, which is true, but, you know, is it worth, like, every moment that Historia doesn't eat Zeke, become the Beast Titan, and have, like, Titan powers, like, there further risks are there, and the plan waits for her to, and now 9 months till she, like, has a baby or something, that's a long time to wait to make moves, so, you know, I get both sides. But Niccolo looks like he's going to do some business. Circling back, though, to the conversation here, though, I mean, obviously, this was a fantastic discussion between Gabby and, I think this girl's name was, like, Maya. I didn't write it down. I wish I had. She's a good girl. The way that this conversation is laid out so clearly, it's Gabby's indoctrination versus this girl's just, like, innocent life experience. My mom didn't do anything. Gabby's like, you don't understand. Your ancestors were monsters. Right. My mom didn't do anything. Why did she have to die? And Gabby hates her. And Gabby was gonna stab her with a fucking pitchfork for just, like, saying that she's from, or acknowledging she's from Marley. She's the enemy. She's got information on us. We have to take her out. Basically, I mean, this girl, I wish I remember her name, because she's good. She made a righteous, powerful argument here. Racism, debunked, baby. It's out the window. I wrote down the way I wanted to phrase it. Don't hold individuals accountable for shit their people did a long time ago, or maybe they didn't even do it. Like, one of the things is that we don't even know if the Eldians were as bad as the Marleyans say. We don't even know. They talk about, like, forced impregnation, you know, rape, fucking conquering civilizations, flattening them. Maybe to some degree, maybe not. We don't really know. We've pretty much just, I think, touched on the main thing here of don't judge people as part of a group. You got to judge people as individuals. I agree with that. Makes sense to me. Now, the question is, will this convince Gabby of anything? I don't feel like she's really been swayed yet. I think she's on the way. Not necessarily,
yeah.
Will she kill everyone she can get her hands on still, because she's not convinced of this argument yet?
Very possible.
She sure wants to kill Eren, wants to kill Zeke, wants to kill lots of people all the time. Gabby's being set up as a power player, I feel, and, you know,
I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with these kids. And now we've got the post. Did you see the post-credit scene on episode 11?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So all the remaining still alive Titans on the Marleyan side are like, they were going to wait 6 months for a counterattack, but basically all of them argued, no, the kids are too important. We got to fucking storm the island now.
And they know Zeke's a traitor. But yes, so the point is, we're not waiting. Sounds like, oh, thank God, new arc, fighting, attacking right now. It's time to go.
And our boy Reiner is in as well. He's not catatonic currently because he has to go save those fucking kids.
You know, that's sweet. That's sweet. They're like, oh, we can't go right now. Reiner's like, they have important people. Obviously, he's arguing from like, there's the tactical
literally
situation.
all 4 of them argued to go to the island sooner than later. So like they all are like, these kids are too important. We have to do it.
They all have a personal connection too. They're thinking definitely at least a little bit emotionally. I mean, so anyway, that's where we leave it. Sounds like a new invasion's happening before too long. They're gonna take the fight to the island one more time. So it does seem like you were right. The final battle is all coming back to Paradis Island. And the final thing is just these guys, or Gabi and Flock, or whatever the fuck his name is, Falco, yes, thank you. They're like going to town to visit like the Marleyan restaurant of like the guy who was friends with Sasha, and we'll see if that maybe puts them in contact with like Marleyan contacts to get them out of here. So like, will this be an opportunity for Gabi to be in town around players and do some things? I suspect that it will.
Be exciting.
Get her back in the narrative, get her, I mean, we know what a mad lad she is, so I want to see her cut a rug one way or another.
Yeah, well,
excellent episodes. Great time. Loving it.
I will say, I watched these episodes each when they came out at regular speed, and I retained almost nothing that had happened and had to rewatch them again at double speed and take notes. This is, I really think this is a show that at this point, I don't even consider that an insult to the show. There's just a lot going on to keep track of and pay attention to, and like, I actually respect it enough at this point to be willing to go back and be like, well, okay, I know I wasn't paying attention. Like, maybe, you know, maybe the show is like it's a little weird to jump back into this, like, an episode like these two after a whole week of waiting and there's no action. You know, you're just like watching the next step of each character's story. It's an easier show to marathon. The opposite of what I was saying about Vlad Love in that recording that you guys should watch, because I'm sure...
That'll be out in like a day or two.
Yeah, make sure you come back for the Vlad Love episode and every other episode of Can't... You're not allowed to just watch Titan, goddammit.
Yeah, these are dense as shit, and I'm fucking loving it. I also have watched them like twice each time. I sit there eagerly waiting the new episode when it comes out. I'm finally consuming it like I do with One Piece. Every week, I read a chapter like 4 times. I want to get every fucking piece of juice out of it. That one's a little more like straightforward. This is a little more political, and you got to see what characters are doing and where are we going with stuff. But I'm loving it. As you can see from my discussion, like I'm going back and reading the manga at parts, checking things. I feel like I'm getting into it in the big brain kind of way. So I'm getting a lot out of this series. And I think it's fair to say we both understand why people like it so much.
I think depending on how this manga ends, it could be a very strong 9 out of 10 overall.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen.
We'll see you on the next Titan Tuesday, baby. We'll be there like the day after it comes out or something.
I don't even know why I'm still doing the season 1 intro. That meme's dead to me now.
It's all season 4. Monster. You know, I've been fact-checked. Apparently, they don't literally say monster. They say another thing that sounds very similar.
I didn't even assume it was words because his voice. He has a keyboard of his voice. The singer of this band.
Oh, really?
So most of their songs, like all that, like that symphonic, like blah 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 blah, is like just his voice on a keyboard.
Fascinating.
So that's why it sounds like that.
Sick. Come back for more deep-cut takes about Attack on Titan and all related media. Next episode of KHANTENT, you should follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord down below, talk about the stuff. Of course, give us $10 on Subscribestar so you can get all our bonus episodes, including our last Attack on Titan one, and a new one coming a couple of days from now. And there's something else. Oh, subscribe. No, I already said that. Fucking KHANTENT Clips. And we do have a P.O. box. It is open now. Feel free to send us shit. It exists. It's real. We haven't gotten anything yet, so send it and I'll take a look at it and we'll see if it's good or if it sucks.
Anything cool. We'll have. And if it's not cool, we won't have it.
We won't have it. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday. KHANTENT!